All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the preferences available to us for the Unity editor. If we go under Edit, we can see that there is a Preferences option in here, and this will open up the Unity Preferences window. Now, specifically, we're going to look at the General tab. So starting at the top, we have the External Script Editor. This allows you to control what program you're going to use to edit scripts when scripting in Unity. Now, in my case, you see all kinds of stuff listed in here. We have Visual Studio 2008 and 2010. We have Mono Develop. You'll probably, if this is the first time you've ever run Unity, you'll only see the built-in editor, which is Unisite. But you could add other things in here as well. You could add, say, Notepad or Xcode, or if you're running on a Mac, or something like Notepad++. If you downloaded it, all you have to do is browse for that program and load it in like so. And down from here we have the Image application. This does the same thing if you want to edit any images, like textures for your game. So if you had something like Photoshop installed on your machine, you can point this right at Photoshop, and then when you go to open up any one of your textures, it'll automatically bring up Photoshop, and you'll be ready to edit just like that. Down from here we have the Asset Server Difference tool. This is not going to make any difference to us because we don't have the optional Asset Server package or product. It's an entirely separate licensed product installed on our system. Down from this we have auto refresh. Now, what is auto refresh going to do for us, Lee?
Well, auto refresh is going to determine whether or not Unity is going to monitor your asset folder inside of your folder structure for new assets to be created. If you remember from an earlier video, we opened up Windows Explorer and we showed you where the asset folder was located and how its folder structure mimicked what we have in the project window. We also demonstrated that you're able to move in our case, we were moving an image file around, but you can pretty much move any asset around inside of that folder. We also gave you some precautions on why you wouldn't want to do it that way, because it will break any links that you have with other materials, etc.
Sure.
Now, what you can do with it, though, is if you're bringing in a whole bunch of new assets and you want to bring them in for the very first time, you can grab a bunch of textures or sounds and you drag them right into that folder. With Auto Fresh checked, what is going to happen is the next time you flip over to Unity and bring up Focus, it's going to detect these new assets and import them automatically for you. It will also detect if, let's say, you open up an image file inside of Photoshop and you make some adjustments and then you save the file and you come back to Unity, it will recognize that that file has changed and it will go ahead and re-import that with the newest changes. Now, if that's a behavior you don't want, you can turn this option off, and then it will not update automatically. You'll be forced to go ahead and hit Control-R inside of your project window, or click one of the right-click or one of the other mechanisms to force the re-import manually.
Gotcha. Now down from here we have Show Project Wizard at Startup. Really, this just means when you start Unity, do you want a window to pop up saying, hey, would you like to make a new project? And if so, how would you like to make it? Generally, I leave this off, but you can turn it on if you like. Now, next we have compressed textures when importing. The name pretty much says it all. When you bring in textures, they are going to get compressed down. If you don't want that behavior, if you'd rather be working with those textures in an uncompressed format, then simply uncheck this. Next, we have Editor Analytics. While you are using Unity, Google Analytics is actually being utilized to track various anonymous data about how your Unity experience is going. It's just a way for Unity technology to keep track of how you're using Unity and to help them get ideas for improving your experience. If you don't want to send out that anonymous data, simply uncheck this. Finally, we have Use Pro Skin, which, as the name suggests, is a Pro-only feature. And if we turn this off, then this is what Unity Basic looks like. It's the much brighter UI. And of course, if we check this back on, here we have the Pro version. So
that's worth buying Pro just for that.
You know, really, I think this is where the money's at with Pro. If you haven't come up with any good reasons to buy Pro, I think this is your number one.
Yeah, that's
right
the clincher right there.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it for things like, you know, the water and things like deferred rendering and whatnot, and those were okay. Those had almost sold me, really.
Yeah, the occlusion calling,
yeah.
And, you know, the global illumination.
That stuff was okay, and it almost had me sold, but as soon as I saw that we had the dark gray skin and that was only for Pro, that was it. I mean, I got my wallet out right there. So that is a quick rundown of all of the preferences found underneath the General tab in Unity. That's going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.